Hello, my friends. It's wonderful to continue a conversation with you about our sister wisdom and think about it in a rich sense in which wisdom, the feminine of God, is one who abides with us. She creates a household for us and with us. And we might say that she is in God's partnership. She is an image of God, the God who dwells within us and with us. The last time we took a little bit of time with silence, and now this is a brief time to look at solitude. And actually, I'm sharing this with you before a script of Thomas Merton, a hand-done piece by a Chinese artist from America who wrote beside it in calligraphy, Chinese calligraphy, Merton's wonderful prayer, "Lord, I do not know where I'm going." And that's part of the journey of solitude. And wisdom companions us, sometimes leads us, but more wonderfully as we trust ourselves to the practice of the Divine One, of the Holy One, of Christ, of the God who dwells within us, of the truth of the God who is all in all. You and I give ourselves over to the very one who is solitude itself. An old phrase I don't particularly care for, to be alone with the alone, doesn't really reflect for me what solitude is. Because the one we call alone, I do not believe is alone. I think the one we call alone is the one who has the largest lap of everybody, the biggest household, and the broadest stretch of arms, if we're going to totally anthropomorphize that God, as a woman or a man who has the capacity to hold us. That God is in no way alone. Indeed, I believe, and I think our faith would tell us, that we're here precisely because God so loves us that God wanted us here as an expression of God's love. And so we move into solitude with that confidence and ability to know that part of the step of solitude is departure. Possibly in another reflection on solitude, maybe along with silence, I would talk further. But today, let us just think for a few moments about departing. I mean, this is the season when we get up and go to other people's houses, if you're still in the Christmas season. Or possibly at your work life. You get up and leave your home or your apartment in the morning, possibly with a significant other, your spouse, your children. There's a goodbye, there's a leaving, a leave-taking. That one and a deeper one happens when you and I enter solitude, or welcome solitude to enter us, our holy abiding self, the self that abides in holiness. We might say there's a certain darkness to that in the sense of an unknowingness of it, and so we go into strange territory. We go into a silence we're not familiar with. Maybe even images, visions, imaginations that we're not familiar with, and we let them all go and move in with our sister, silence, to a place where our sister, solitude, welcomes us in her very broad, beautiful armfold, welcoming. We climb up on her lap, the lap of God, and we hear this from Thomas Merton, reflecting a little bit on the contemplative movement in our lives. He says the way to find the real world, and so that's what I'm talking about, this real world that's ours. We leave one world that's very real, the workaday world, the world of our households and families, but all of us, each of us, not leaving as in departing finally, but moving deeper into a real world, which is not merely to be measured or observed. It is not only what is outside us, but to discover our own inner ground. And so this becomes that walk of solitude, the ground within us that is our ground, not by possession, but by the beautiful creation of God that we are, the making of us, so that where the world is, first of all, in my deepest self, this ground, this world, where I am mysteriously present at once to myself and to the freedoms of all other women and men, is not visible, is not visible. It's not determined structure. It's not fixed laws and demands. It is a living, self-creating mystery of which I am myself a part, which I myself, my own unique door. So there's a leave-taking and an entering that is really part of our solitude. Maybe to make it a little more graphic, maybe it's still a time in your life when you're possibly wrapping a few more gifts, either for Christmas or for a wedding or a birthday party. And you may go to the back room or your bedroom to wrap. You may leave a few people in one room to go there. Take a little more time there. Close the door behind you and let the door of your inner self open. Treasure the silence and the quiet there. Enter into the solitude of the thoughtfulness and the love that goes into the packaging, the wrapping, the attending to the gift. That really from you as giver is being given in love to someone else. Or it might be a more practical, functional moment for you. You may be heading into the kitchen and you might say, excuse me, I'm going to take some time by myself here and turn over the whatever. Or it may be someone else saying, pardon me, I'm going to the basement, or I'm going to the garage, I've got a project right now. Take a little more time in the kitchen. Take a little more time in the garage. Enjoy the basement of your house just for a few minutes. Sit on a stool there in your own solitude and relish the quiet and the door that opens in you when you're there. When the truth, the ground of your very being is so obviously present. And we ironically make more of this than less, and it really is a less. It's a simplicity of being. It's the core who we are that emerges, the truth of who we are, because we needn't defend ourselves to anybody when you and I are out there by ourselves for a moment, somewhere, or in here, quiet here, in our inner solitude. And the outer solitude of a room, a space, a garage, a bedroom, a car, enhances or helps us be in touch with this inner solitude. And in that inner solitude abides the living God. God present everywhere and in everyone. But embarrassingly enough, abiding in us, living in us, enthroned in our own solitude.